Hello, Noah.
Britton, hello, how are ya?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It's great to have you here on the show.
Oh yeah, it's good to be here.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's start off where it really all began for you. So, you picked up a guitar at an early age and began singing and writing music. So what age did you find music as your passion? Or do you think, you chose music, or did music choose you? Like, what really attracted you to want to be a musician?
I started playing guitar when I was about 8 years old, and I didn't take it seriously for about two or 3 years. Really, 10 to 11 years old is when I really started taking it seriously. And I didn't start singing for people until I was 12. But around then, I started playing in bars with a band about every weekend when I was 12 years old, and I realized right then that I have no choice. I have to do this for the rest of my life.
Well, let's kind of talk about where fans they best know you from, which is season 14 of The Voice, as you were the runner-up. You were part of Team Alicia, as Alicia Keys was one of the coaches for that particular season, and she was also your mentor. That was 2 years ago, though. But how did being part of the competition change you and help you grow as a musician? Like, what are some of the things that you learned from being part of the show?
The show really sets you up with a lot of connections with an extremely large fan base, and with just a world of experience. It's a very the rigorous routine that you get into on doing the show. And you have a lot of friends that will last a lifetime. And really, you're all in the same hotel, you're all living with each other. And that shapes a lot of musical experience as well, and a lot of musical language, having people like that around. Other musicians, you get to see the way people do things and how they do them and why they do them. And that's very inspiring. And Alicia has been around for a really long time. She's still around with me as a mentor, and I talk to her all the time. She's been a big part of all of these projects. So the show really, set me up with great friends, great mentors, great connections. I've met a lot of my heroes because of the show and those opportunities, and great fans. I love the fans that I've gotten from the show, and hope, to keep making them proud and keep them interested in what I'm doing right now, because it's been a while, but the show was a big blessing to me.
Yeah, well, you had such an incredible run too, and I think really for a lot of upcoming musicians that go on the show and are part of this competition of The Voice, I think it really helps build them up a following as well, because it's so hard to build something up just from starting online these days, because everyone's trying to do it.
I completely agree. There's every day the internet gets more and more saturated with musicians, and there's so many good musicians out there that for a long time, I feel like the idea of a reality singing show was on the outside of the norm in the music industry, and people who had been around for a long time hadn't accepted it. But now it's that's just a thing that people do. They go. I never saw myself doing one, and then I got wrapped up in it for a really long time and had a great experience on there. But at this point, it's just part of the norm as a platform, as a way for people to get out there and get their name heard and get their face seen. And so I think it helps a lot of people in a world where it's really hard to break through, because there's so many good people and they're all available at your fingertips.
Kind of going back to Alicia Keys, who was your mentor and, your coach, and, you still keep in touch with her, you call her a friend, what does she think about where you're at now in your career, and how has she really helped better you as a recording artist? Because like, we both were saying, Alicia Keys has been around for some time now in the music business.
I'd like to think that she really digs where I'm at and is really proud of me. That's a good question. I'll call her and ask her. I'm sure that she's happy with the progress. I know she really loves the work that I've been doing in these songs that are going to come out. Having her around, that opens up so many doors that are unopenable as just someone who comes off a singing show. And it also opens up an entirely new level of confidence and self-worth in somebody when they have someone like that who really believes in them and who really pushes them and sees a great thing in you. It's a huge compliment, and it increases the way you look at yourself on a daily basis and the way you look at your talent. And so, I love her to death. She's been so great having her around, and
Yeah.
Yeah, words can't explain how much she means to me. I love her to death.
All right, Britton, well, let's talk about your debut single, Cross My Mind. You were teasing us
Oh,
on
yeah.
Instagram about it. I can't wait for the release. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be a great song indeed. So, being away from The Voice for 2 years now, this being, your first debut single, what really made this the right time to bring this release to your fans this new year?
Yeah, it's been a long time. 2 years is a long time, and it's taken a long time. I recorded a record last July of 2018, right after I got off The Voice. The Voice ended in May of 2018 and started 2 years ago. It ended about a year and a half ago. And I got right off the show, flew home for a little bit and to North Carolina, did a couple gigs, and then flew back out and made a record with the band from The Voice. Alicia was there. We made it in this place called Neptune Valley, which was on Paul Allen's estate, which used to be Rock Hudson's estate, and I was playing all these guitars owned by famous people. It was this crazy thing. We were really proud of it. It was a big rock and roll record, and then one day it was just a decision. I was like, man, I think I should try to do this, but make it a little more accessible and a little more mainstream, a little more commercial, and try to grab people's attention by making it familiar enough that you can kind of drag them under the surface and give them something deeper. And that put the brakes on that record, and it's just sitting on the shelf, and it has been sitting on the shelf for over a year now. And we completely revitalized the sound and wrote a bunch of new songs I had never co-written before, so I started co-writing. I'd always written by myself. I found a guy that I love to work. I found a bunch of people I'd love to work with, but a guy really in particular, his name's Derek Furman. So we co-wrote this song, Cross My Mind, together. It's about lost love and the inability to let go, really. Whether that be a person or a place. I thought I was writing it about a person, and then now every time I sing it or every time I listen to it, it feels more about leaving my hometown, because I left when I was really young. I grew up in this little town called Sanford, North Carolina. I started The Voice when I was 17, and I started living alone in LA then. I lived in LA for about half a year through the end of 2017 and the beginning of 2018, and then was in LA periodically a lot through the end of 2018, and I moved there at the beginning of 2019. I've been there for about a year and a half, 2 years at this point. And singing the song, it feels like it's written a lot about being young and leaving and coming back and realizing that, like, well, because when you're young and you live in a small town, your main goal is to get out, and that's a success in and of itself right there. And so once you've gotten out, you just assume that you're able to leave it behind, but it doesn't work that way. It always stays with you.
Right.
And the place where you grew up is very, very, very transformative for you in many different ways. And I didn't realize that until I left. And it feels like it's about that, but it's also about people too, leaving people behind and not being able to get them off your mind, even knowing that you're in a better situation, a better place, a better state of mind than you used to be without, when you were with this person. Now you're without them, you still can't get them off your mind. That's one of my favorite lines of in the song is if nothing lasts forever, why do you cross my mind whenever I find something better? If nothing lasts forever, why do you? That's really the gist of the song, is like, I moved on, but why can't I let you go?
All right, well, Britton, this has gone on way so long, but I so appreciate you for taking the time to chat with me. And your new debut single release, Cross My Mind, is going to be coming out this year. And kind of plug out your socials so everyone can stay connected with you, so they don't miss a beat on everything that's going to be happening for you this new year.
Totally. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Britton Buchanan, and I believe Facebook is the same thing. It's just Britton Buchanan. If you type in facebook.com/Britton Buchanan, it'll come up. So they're all just my name. You can find me there. Follow me. Don't miss out. It's going to be a big year. Lots of news. And thank you, Noah, for having me. I really appreciate it. I've had a great time.
Yes, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me, and I hope our audiences love this as much as I loved being able to do this with you today. And best of luck to you this year, and congrats on everything you've been able to do so far.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right, take care.
All right, you too.